everyone, Dr. Mak with another video today. This video is frequently asked questions 5.0. I've already made 4 or 5 videos on frequently asked questions, top 10 frequently asked questions. If you haven't watched it, go watch it first. All right. Anyone who's new to my channel, welcome. People who are already here, welcome back. This channel is all about helping people out regarding ADC questions, coming to Australia, and a lot of teaching videos that you get on my channel. All right, let's get into it without wasting any time. First of all, as I said, this video, I have already done like 4 or 5 parts of it before. So if you haven't watched it, please go the first frequently asked questions videos first. The reason for it is, you might be asking me new questions on something that I've already answered. So please go and watch it first. First thing is, a lot of people are asking me questions about, immigration related, how to come to Australia, how to get your permanent residency, how to get this visa and which visa is more important. I have my new visa, like a video coming on how to get permanent residency in Australia very soon. I want you to go watch this video. It's going to answer all your questions. But the simple answer to your query would be that any immigration related problems, contact a lawyer. Contact a good lawyer and go pay the 1 hour fees, which is generally $150 to $200 on average. Tell them your concern and they will be able to guide you based on your experience level, based on your qualifications, based on, where you are in your life at the moment and what suits you best. This is what you should do, because everyone's different. I'm not going to say angry, but it really irritates me when I see people, following someone who's done IT or someone, one of the aunties are telling them that this you should do, or you should do a chef course, or you should do this course, for people who are not even aware themselves how the immigration policies work. Australian immigration policies keep changing all the time. You need to get information from someone who is a registered immigration agent himself, or is already aware of the immigration policies. You don't go and take information from anyone out there. And that's why I always say that if you have a tooth problem, you go to the dentist, right? If you have a car problem, you go to a mechanic. So if you have any issues with the immigration, contact a lawyer. Don't start saving your money, like save that $200, because I feel like this is the most important thing for your future career, for your future life. Your whole life can be settled if you actually get proper advice and someone can guide you. At the same time, the professionals actually tell you this is not going to work for you. So they tell you from the start, get-go, that this is not going to work for you. Don't waste your time. So any immigration related problems, don't contact me, don't contact anyone else. Spend the $200. Contact an immigration agent, contact a registered migration lawyer, contact a lawyer, and he's gonna guide you exactly. Because everyone's different. You might have a certain qualification that others don't. You might have a certain area that others don't fit in, and you might have a point criteria that you're fitting better than other people, or you're not fitting, others do. So do not go for with people who don't know themselves, okay? Very important. So any immigration related problems, contact your lawyer. Now, the other things I get a lot is someone who's really enthusiastic in a way. He saw some of my videos or someone else's video and they were like, I want to go to Australia. First of all, people are really ambitious and people who have done their work. I really love them. I used to be one of them. But one thing you need to understand is you have to respect other people's time as well. You can't start calling someone and messaging someone again and again and saying, I want to come to Australia. Like, I would love to help you, or someone else would love to help you. But the problem is, you're in your 3rd year of dental school. You're in your 2nd year of dental school. And you're saying, I want to come to Australia in the future, guide me. You are basically telling me that guide me what I will be doing in the next 5 years after. So you're in your second year of your dental school. You'll be doing 3 more years of your dental school. Then you'll be finishing it. Then we'll be doing your 1 year of clinical experience. Then you'll be talking about going overseas to Australia or America or Canada or in your country doing your fellowship or something, or don't do anything. So you're telling me that, tell me something which I'm going to do after 5 years or 4 years. How about the situation has already changed 4 years after, 5 years after, 3 years after? So please, you have to be respectful in a way. When your time comes and you've done the work and you have done all your research, we'll be happy to help you. But at the moment, maybe you're not ready yet. Okay? So it's very important, if you have done all the work, you have to also understand that it's good to be ambitious, it's good to be excited about your future, but you need to understand you need to work on the right time. If you're asking me questions or someone's messaging me again and again that help me, I'm a first year dental student, then you feel like I'm wasting my time on someone who don't need that information. And the other information is already available online. All right. So you have to do your research, but you have to be respectful of other people's time. Okay. Third question, which I get a lot, is I'm going to Sweden. Now I'm going to Russia. I'm going to Brazil. I'm currently in Australia or currently in America, but I want to do my dentistry from another country. Then I want to come back and see that, if I'm eligible to do ADC. Now, these are very complicated questions. And again, you're asking me things that what's going to happen in the next 6 years. You're already planning your life in a way that, you want to go somewhere else, do your dentistry, then come back to Australia and see if you're eligible for ADC. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 7 years or 10 years, next 5 years. I don't know. Anything related. Now, if someone messages me and say, I want to do dentistry in Russia and then come back to do ADC. Generally, if you're a dentist and you have done it from a qualified university, you should be eligible to do Australian Dental Council exam, which is the ADC exam. But at the same time, you need to also understand that this is not a question for me. This is a question for the Australian Dental Council. If you want to know if your qualification is registered in Australia, then I'm not the dictionary here, right? Or you should ask this to the Australian Dental Council. So anything related with the Australian Dental Council exams, if you have any queries, if you have any particular concerns and you're worried about, should I go to Russia and do it from this university? Or, in Brazil at this university, then you should send an email to the Australian Dental Council and don't start messaging me about where's the email address. You should be doing the research yourself. You should open the Australian Dental Council website, and in the contacts, you'll find their email address. Email them about it. And 2 of the people who contacted me, I told them the same thing. They send them to ADC. ADC emailed them within the same day. By the end of the day, ADC emailed them that this is the university list in Brazil and Russia, and these are the eligible universities. So if you do any course from these universities, you'll be eligible to do ADC in the future. So they got their answer, right? So you have to understand that there's certain areas you should ask questions, certain areas you should feel that, they're better people who will answer you, which will be more legitimate in a way. If I say that, okay, do it from this university, tomorrow you come back to ADC, and ADC is going to tell you that, no, this university is not registered, who's going to take the blame? That's why it's so important, okay? So anything related to the immigration, contact a lawyer. Anything related to ADC that you feel like you want to go, and after ADC you want to go practice in New Zealand or you want to go practice in another country, you're from the UK, and because you're from the UK, you've been practicing there for 10 years, or you're an NHS dentist, now you want to convert it to Australia. Do you have to do ADC or you don't have to do ADC? Can you work here without doing the license exam or not? So this question is for the Australian Dental Council. Send an email to the Australian Dental Council. Tell them about what you have done, what your background is, what you're in the UK. Are you a resident or not? Are you a resident of another country? Then contact ADC, and then you should contact a lawyer that can help you come here. So this is something you can do. At the same time, if you're a young dentist and you haven't even finished your BDS yet, then you should understand that it's good to gather on the information. It's good to gather all the information. But don't try to message all the time and say that, I need all information right now, even if I want to do it in 5 years. But if that's the case, you should understand that you have to be respectful of someone's time. Because when I have limited time and there's so many people message me, it's very hard for me to talk to everyone. And I'll be very honest, it's hard for me to talk to everyone. But still, when I see someone who messages me on Instagram, DM me on Instagram about all their bio, what the work have done and what hard work they've done and what background research have they done, and they need help in one thing, I always reply back. But I see someone who's just basically just messaging me, they haven't done their work, then I will put the website link in the bottom description of this video. You will go to my website. I charge a certain fees for one-on-one consultations. You can book the one-on-one consultation, pay the fee, send a screenshot to me, then I can talk to you one-on-one. That's the best I can do for you because I have very limited time. I can only help people who I feel they're more in need or their answer is more important based in the current scenario or at the current point in time. I feel like they're more valuable for me to answer them. But if someone's messaging me, I feel like, they're just more like wasting my time, then, or they're not as important as the other people I can help out with my limited capacity, then that's the best I can do is, you just pay the fees, do the book for the one-on-one consultation. I'll be more than happy to guide you, help you, and then you can ask me whatever you want. But if that's the case, then, unfortunately I have to think about, who I find is, needs more. So lawyer related, contact the lawyer. Immigration related, contact the lawyer. Anything related, if you're a young dentist, then you should do your research and, make the pointers and be ready for when you need them. Get information, but not be respectful. Try to be respectful. If you need the information which you will be used after 5 years, the information might change anyways, okay? And then any information regarding Australian exams, contact the ADC. They always guide you, they always help you. Now, one question, which is question number 4, I get it a lot and I've answered this a lot of times as well. And some people get really annoyed at it. Some people get upset at it. And I told them that, I've very strong empathy for you. I feel empathetic. I can empathize with you. But the problem is, this is the rule by the ADC. If you're a specialist, and the question is, I'm a specialist from my country, I'm an oral maxillofacial surgeon, I'm an orthodontist, I'm a periodontist with 40 years of experience or 4 decades of experience, 3 decades of experience. I want to work in Australia. Now, Australia made this law, Australian Dental Council, that you have to do the license exam. Only then you will be eligible to work as a dentist in Australia. Like every, country has its own way. Previously, they used to have license exam for specialists as well. Now they have removed that. They're saying that you have to do the ADC first. Once you do the Australian Dental Council exam, which is for general dentists, then you can go and sit in the fellowship of their specialist exam as well. But you have to do, everyone who wants to come to Australia, they have to do the ADC exam, which is for general dentist qualification exam first. Now, the other questions that I get is, but I'm an oral surgeon. So should I finish my degree and then come to Australia, or it's not going to count anyways? See, it's completely up to you. A lot of time we do education is not about it's going to get counted or not. It's about based on you get a degree, you get a lot of knowledge as well, and nobody's can take away that knowledge from you. Okay? So if you feel like you want to finish a master's degree in orthodontics or oral surgery, oral max fax, or periodontology or oral medicine, or whichever one you want to do, or even in dental materials, you can do it. But one thing you need to understand is you will not be recognized as a specialist in Australia. You still have to go through the general dentist exam first. Later, you can look into and search into the equivalency exams for specialization as well. And then you can do that and later register yourself as a specialist, or you might need to do a new course to be a specialist in Australia. So you'll have to check again with the Australian Dental Standards, Australian Dental Association, Australian Dental Council about these things. Okay. But unfortunately, if you have 40 years experience or you have double specialization, it doesn't get counted. So you'll still be considered as a general dentist. You'll have to go through the general dental exam first. Okay. Other things a lot of people ask me is, I want to work as a dental assistant. I'm not a dentist. I am a dental assistant and I just want to work as a dental assistant in Australia. Is there a way I can get permanent residency? Yes, there are ways. And again, when you talk about permanent residency, first thing you should do is talk to a lawyer, because again, it's an immigration related thing now. Talk to a lawyer, tell them about your current, background, your qualification, your level of experience. In Darwin and then one other place, you'll have to do your research, Google it, skilled occupation list, dental assistant, PR in Australia, which states is it available. And I get really annoyed when people say, I did research and I didn't find anything. How much research have you done? Because I can find everything on Google. Like when I was doing my research, literally I did all my research myself, but I've spent so much time on it. These days, the problem is people don't want to spend time. They just say that, I've spent half a day and it didn't find anything and, nothing's available. You have to spend like whole month on it. Do a whole month of research. You'll be able to find so many things. You will not be able to find anything. Even you will come and tell me that, Dr. Mac, I found this as well. That's what I want to see from you. If it's the most important decision of your life, this is the most important career-driven decision of your life. It's going to make your life from one aspect to another. And that's what you want to do, right? You're taking a decision coming overseas to have a better opportunity-wise and better life and everything, right? So you can't even spend a month or half a month. I can guarantee you is you spend 1 week finding everything, you're going to find everything. You don't even need to ask anyone. The problem is you haven't done your research. And then you just want someone to give you on a platter. And that's when you feel like, I didn't find this book. I didn't find this, because I feel like you haven't done enough research yet. So the thing is, if you're a dental assistant and you're not a dentist and you want to come to Australia, you can get your permanent residency. There are pathways now available. Again, you need to sit down with a lawyer, talk to a lawyer about it, and then do your research about it. I have 2 videos. If you haven't watched it, go watch it first, on how to apply for dental assistant and all the information is related, how to get job as a dental assistant. There'll be 2 parts. The first part is for dentist. Second part is for non-dentist. But for non-dentist, I want them to watch both the part 1 and part 2 to give you all the information. So for dental assistants, you have a career. It's a good career. It gives you good pay. It gives you job security, and it gives you pathway to get permanent residency in Australia as well. Okay, it is there. Now, there was another question that someone recently asked me that, I see a lot of people doing teaching jobs in dental schools and teaching institutes. Can I teach in a dental facility in Australia? Yes, you can. Now, you have to search for jobs. There are different vacancies at some point in time where they need different tutors and facilitators who can teach dental students. Generally, to do that, you have to pass at least your part 1 exam. I think last when I checked, because I have a lot of friends who do that as well, you need to at least pass the part 1 Australian Dental Council exam. If you pass the part 1 Australian Dental Council exam, that gives them a bit of a judgment criteria as well, that you have done some work and you're eligible at least for the part 1. So then what they do is they don't allow you to teach their final year, third year student, which is the practical side, but they allow you to teach their first year and second year dental student, which is for the dental materials and knowledge base and all that as well. So there are ways you can do it, but as far as my knowledge is concerned, and you can do more research on it, you need to look at the job availabilities, what jobs are available, when do they get available. Some universities have their seasons when they're looking for people, but at the same time, you need the part 1 to be passed for the part ADC, Australian Dental Council part 1 exam. You need that pass to be able to work as a tutor. Now, when you work as a tutor or a facilitator, the second question comes, can I apply for my PR based on that? Again, it's an immigration related question. Please talk to a lawyer about it. And I would say if someone is spending so much money and it's the most important decision of their life, you should be spending $200 talking to a lawyer rather than going to someone who's a non-professional, have no idea. He just wants to tell everyone they know it all, but technically they don't. Okay, so question number 4 was, if I'm a specialist in my country, are you eligible to work in Australia? Not as a specialist, it doesn't get counted. You have to go back to the same process, passing the ADC exams, and then go back to going the specialization pathway. So you have to go to the general pathway. At the same time, yes, you can teach in an Australian facility. You have to pass the part 1, and then you can look and research about, and that's like any other job application that you do. You just have to go, give interviews, apply, first you get selected, and all that process you have to do. Okay. Other questions, I will just quickly go ahead just to make sure if I do it. I'm getting a lot of questions these days with young dentists who have just passed ADC exams, and how can I guide them about, how to proceed. I will be hopefully making more videos on those topics so more people can get a bit of an idea about how things are going. Okay, and these get very, 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 very important as well. Recently I got a lot of questions regarding the implant marathons. Are they good? Should we do a diploma first? Should we do the marathon directly? See, I have a very open opinion on it. I always say that you should do a lot of background research first on any course you do. I personally did the Egypt diploma and implant marathon. Is amazing experience. But what I generally say is, implant, in my personal opinion, putting the screw in is the easiest thing in the world. Putting an implant screw is the easiest thing in the world. And I'm very open about it. The most difficult thing in implant dentistry is the planning. All the case selection, the case planning. That is most important. Putting a screw is not important. So if you go to an implant marathon tomorrow, and if you put 100 screws and you're like, oh, I've done an amazing job, you come back tomorrow, and I know so many people who have done 100 screws and 50 screws and you name it, how many implants. You give them a case tomorrow and they're holding their head and say, oh, it's a difficult one. That's the problem. So that's very difficult. And that's why it's very difficult based on person to person. But what I generally recommend doing it, that you should always do a diploma first. If you're in America, then you do an American based diploma. If you're in Australia, do an Australian based diploma. 12 months at least to get a very good knowledge idea about the planning and everything. And once you have done it, now if you're from Canada, if you're from UK, do a UK based diploma. And the reason I'm saying that or suggesting this, because tomorrow, because there's so much legal problems as well. Tomorrow, if something goes wrong, and when we do anything clinical dentistry, things go wrong as well. You can't expect things to go perfect, right? Tomorrow, if something goes wrong, you can't try to support yourself saying, I did an overseas diploma and I was placing so many implants. That's why you should do a highly accredited diploma. I would say I highly recommend this, that you do a accredited diploma from the country you are practicing in. So if you're doing from Pakistan or India, do it in Pakistan, India. If you're in Egypt, do it in Egypt. If you're in UK or Canada, do it in UK, Canada. If you're in America, in the States, do it in States. If you're in Australia, do an Australian-based diploma first. Once you've done the Australian-based diploma, that gives you a lot of back support as well, that tomorrow if something goes wrong, you can say that I did a diploma from Australia. I did all the knowledge check, because every country is different, right? There may be a lot of laws that you need to learn on this. Do the diploma, do all the learning, do it 12 months to at least 12 months. If you can do it 2 years, do it 2 years. Get everything right, and then once you start placing implants and then you feel like you need that exposure, then go to Brazil or Egypt or India, go somewhere, do the implant marathon. That's for your own experience. The more cases you do, the more you learn, but you need to have a diploma in your own country. That's what I highly recommend. So tomorrow, if something goes wrong, you'll be able to support and say that, yes, let's, I have done it in my country. Just was for more experience. So you have to look into the legal considerations as well. It's also very, very important. There were other questions regarding the part 1 exams. I only teach for the practical exam. I don't teach for the part 1 exam. I only teach for the part 2 exam of Australian Dental Council. So the practical exam, all the details are on my website. But I made a detailed part 1 video on how to start your part 1 journey, which books to study, and all the detail. If you want help with part 1, go watch that video. That will give you a really good guide on everything. Okay, if you have any other questions regarding coming to Australia or Australian Dental Council exam, or any of the questions, I will be more than happy to answer. You can comment below in the video. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and share it with someone who can actually benefit out of it. Okay, God bless you, all of you, all the new subscribers and the current subscribers supporting me with all the journey. This channel is for all of you. So I try my level best to share as much as my knowledge with all of you. I hope it benefits someone who was struggling to find this answer. Again, if you haven't seen the previous videos, frequently asked questions video, please go and watch them first. So that gives you a good idea of something or certain questions that I might have already answered them in the past. Okay, God bless you, and I see you all with a new video very soon.